Hello and welcome to the Euro podcast from sportsbet.io. This is this week's Bundesliga episode, but don't forget there is a La Liga and Serie A episode every single week as well. In each of our episodes, we are joined by a fantastic expert, and of course our Bundesliga friend is Taufig Khalil. Taufig, this is a fascinating week, and we will get on to the big-ish story fairly soon, but I kind of want to go through this in almost date order if we can, and start at the Bayern with Leverkusen, or Leverkusen as they used to be called, against Stuttgart. Leverkusen are in a very strange spot. You called this a couple of weeks ago, actually. They're in a very strange place at the moment.
Yeah, well, they really have to find themselves. It's all new for them. They are champions, and it's last two games were two draws. As against Brest and against Werder Bremen. They are already 5 behind Bayern Munich, and now they really need points to stay in contention with Bayern Munich, because otherwise, if Bayern will play on in the Bundesliga as they did in the last few weeks, then it might be a very tough one for Leverkusen to close that gap again. If it's early in this season, growing up to 8 points, then so there's pressure. On the other side, Leverkusen has to deal with the Champions League Tuesday. Liverpool. Yeah.
What game that is?
Anfield, here. It's here. It's not Bayer Arena. It's Liverpool. It's the big one. And a lot of the players will already, I think, start thinking, Xabi Alonso, I know him very well because he was in Munich. Yeah. We worked for a long time together, and I know what he will say. He will say, before the Stuttgart match, he will say, today is our Liverpool, because Liverpool is on Tuesday. Today is Stuttgart. So only focus on one match. But can you do that as a player? Can you say you are in the lead 2-1? It's 85 minutes played, and then you say, okay, Tuesday it's a tough one. I'm exhausted. My legs are sore. I'm tired. So what might happen in your head? Yeah. Will you start thinking when you are forward about Virgil van Dijk? Well, maybe. I never played on that level, so I have no idea. But you often can see that these things are happening.
Yeah, the thing with Lever is when you look at their form just generally, there's too many draws in there, really. We can kind of ignore the 3-0 midweek game, and there are plenty of midweek games, don't forget, in the Pokal, the DFB Pokal, both on Tuesday night. We're recording this on Wednesday morning. There's more games tonight. They beat Elversberg, who've actually been okay in the Bundesliga Schweiz so far this season, but they're always going to be winning that game. It's just strange because they're not playing terribly by Leverkusen, but there's that killer instinct or getting it done at the last minute that we saw last season just isn't there at the moment.
Yeah. Well, this is the one side. It's not that easy especially when you have that big Champions League, when you have that big Champions League nights to squeeze in. And Bayern Munich is another Bayern Munich, which compared to last year. So that means there are stronger clubs now behind you or in front of you. Yeah. It might not be as easy as last year, as it was very easy to beat Bayern Munich, who had problems by themselves all season long, fighting with themselves, firing coaches and things like that. Now Bayern Munich is just focusing on the Bundesliga, and then they are focusing on other things. But Bundesliga is very important for Vincent Kompany, who never won it, the same as Xabi Alonso last year. He never won the Bundesliga, and it's maybe this year, It's not that easy to. It's easy. That's what a lot of people say who won a title. It's easy to win a title. It's hard to defend it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think they squeezed that game, but I don't know that it's going to be very, very comfortable. Stuttgart, obviously, a very decent side. You've mentioned Bayern Munich.
Unpredictable. Yeah. Stuttgart is crazy. Is on the one day they play absolutely fantastic football. On the next, they have the same problems. As Leverkusen, a team coming from almost relegation, going into the Champions League. Now they're facing Bergamo next week. They won the last two matches at Juventus Turin. It's not easy to win at Juventus, and they beat Kiel. Of course, they had to do that. So the momentum is on their side. Well, I don't see why. Last night they won the cup in their cup match. So why not go there with a lot of self-confidence?
Yeah, both teams to score could be a good way in there. But yeah, they beat Kaiserslautern midweek in the cup game. You mentioned Bayern Munich. I mean, you again, I've just mentioned earlier on you calling something perfectly. You called this one absolutely perfectly, which was whether Bayern Munich go to Barcelona and win, or Bayern Munich go to Barcelona, even if they got destroyed, as you said last week, they will destroy Bochum. That's exactly what happened. But Bochum isn't the story, really. It's the response to what happened in Barcelona. You know, I'm sure you know this, Taufig, but some of the worst ratings you can possibly give, for example, in Bild, were given to almost every single Bayern Munich player. The criticism of Vincent Kompany, which, you know, in many ways is fair and in many ways is maybe still a bit harsh, it was extreme. Not good enough yet was the phrase that was sort of dancing around in Germany a bit as well. This Bayern Munich side, 29 goals scored, but they're insane.
Yeah, it's the defense problem. It's still this thing. How long will Vincent Kompany stick to his philosophy, even against big teams like Barcelona? I'm answering these questions every week 5 times. How could that happen? Why is that? What will going on? And I can always say the same thing. This system works very well against teams like Kiel, like Werder Bremen, even against Bayer Leverkusen, which really played very terrible football when they came to Munich. It worked very well. Well, Bayern forget to score 5 or 6 or 7 goals against Leverkusen, which could easily be done. And it works against Bochum, as we saw last weekend. Yeah. But in the moment you get stronger teams with stronger players, with stronger individual players, with an excellent goalkeeper like Emiliano Martinez at Aston Villa, your forwards are not scoring too much. If your forwards are not scoring, then you are in big danger to lose that game, even by 1 goal, because your defense is not very strong. It could be run over very easy. So that's what happened against Aston Villa. That's what happened against Eintracht Frankfurt. It was 3-3 because they had Omar Mamouche, a very fast player.
Yeah.
And against Barcelona, I commented that match last week. It was unbelievable. It was the same mistakes as always. Bayern pressing very high, all players very close to the box of Barcelona. You lose the ball in the box of Barcelona, and then it only takes 2 steps to overrun the defense of Bayern Munich. Yeah. And that's what's happening when you have fast players. Well, now they're playing against Union Berlin. I don't see that fast players at Union Berlin, so that's the good news for Vincent Kompany. But the next matches for Bayern Munich, well, it's Benfica in the Champions League, and then it's PSG. It's
St. Pauli before that, a trip to Hamburg and St. Pauli first.
Yeah, trip to Hamburg, and they have the cup. But it's the big teams will come, the weaker teams will come. The system works very well with all these Bochums and Bremens and Leverkusens. But and that's the discussion about Vincent Kompany. How long can he stick to his philosophy, even against these big teams?
What is it generally positive about Kompany, or is it sort of slightly heading towards a negative feeling about him, or is the feeling in the German media and amongst certainly Bayern fans, that they don't know yet? What is the...
The feeling is very positive. It's his way he approaches things. It's his way how he talks about himself. It's a way that not taking things too serious. It's his way how he's just behaving towards people. He's like loved like Hansi Flick. The thing is, so far, nothing is destroyed. So far, it's nothing.
That's fair, yeah.
Nothing that happened which couldn't be corrected in a way. Yeah. But let's say, as you said, we are recording that on Wednesday morning. We have the cup match tonight against Mainz. If they drop out of the German Cup, then the first title is gone. Then the discussion will gain some speed. If you don't win the next Champions League match against Benfica, and you're already on 23rd position, a position where Bayern Munich doesn't see themselves in the Champions League. Yet they were dreaming about 1-8. They started high against Dinamo Zagreb with 9-2, but now they are falling steep. If they don't win against Benfica next week, the gap to the first 8 is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the discussion will gain more speed. In the Bundesliga, I don't see so far, except of Leipzig, who might be very close to them. But so far, nothing is destroyed for the title race of Bayern Munich. But if that happens, the discussion will turn in another way. So far, everybody is happy. The style is great. His behavior is great. The football is beautiful. But do you want a team as a fan which is dying, as we said in Germany, in beauty every week? Looks good, but not winning? No.
No, it's a very strange scenario. It really is a very odd one, but it's even odder that 23rd theoretically still gets you through to the next round of the Champions League knockouts, and you can still, even at 23rd, you can still make up for it. And we'll move on to another big side who are very strange, although are much worse, no matter what we say, which is Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, they took that lead against Real Madrid and as you said last week, surrendered it. That can be kind of let go to a certain extent. The loss, however, at Augsburg cannot be let go. And then obviously losing to that Jonas Wind goal late against Wolfsburg midweek. This is a Dortmund side who are in a lot of trouble at the moment.
Yeah, 3 losses in a row. I saw the interview with Nuri Sahin after the Wolfsburg match last night. It was very interesting. I'm working as a rhetoric coach, and so I explained to my son the way how he talked to the reporter, how he answered the questions. His eyes were always going down. He was never looking. His voice was very low. You could tell that this guy is really feeling totally exhausted. He has no answers. He's only trying to give answers which are like empty bubbles. Is nothing. That's it. He has no answers. He has no idea what's going on. And the next match now for them, for me, it's a crucial one. If they lose that in Dortmund against Leipzig, which is the most hated club by the fans of Borussia Dortmund, if they lose that, if it's 4 in a row, I think the discussion about is Nuri Sahin the right guy and the right spot? Is he already big enough to coach a big club? Might gain a lot of speed. And then next week, where they play Champions League against Graz, everybody would say, yeah, it's an easy one. I don't see an easy one for Dortmund these days. No, so the reason is that this team, they are fighting each other. There are discussions going on. Is Emre Can the right captain? Is Emre Can responsible for a lot of mistakes? Should Emre Can be a captain anymore? Can a guy who is not your leading player be the captain of your team and lead a team? All these things are bringing a lot of unrest to Borussia Dortmund. So if you would ask me, Dortmund against Leipzig, Dortmund on 7, Leipzig on 2, I would give it to Leipzig.
It has to be Leipzig, doesn't it? I mean, they're only second on goal difference at the moment. They're scoring plenty of goals. They look really sharp. There's no way you could be with Borussia Dortmund here at all. And it feels very similar to other times when Borussia Dortmund managers have started to lose the dressing room. There is similarities in how players, the leaks and everything else. There's huge similarities to how it's fallen apart for others in the past. We will finish with what has been one of the most enjoyable stories in the Bundesliga for me so far this season, which is Freiburg, 5th in the Bundesliga at the moment. They're hosting Mainz at the weekend. Freiburg have got Hamburg in the DFB Pokal, and as we've mentioned earlier on, Mainz have got to host Bayern Munich on Wednesday night. But Freiburg look to me to be one of the best ways in this weekend, Taufig. I mean, Mainz's away form is very good. Let's give them credit. Mainz's away form is very good, but Freiburg, just outside of that loss the other day, which is a fair loss, they look great.
I'm in a circle. We have this discussion every week. Looks like you are a big Freiburg. Looks like you are a big Freiburg fan because
I started the season. I started the season with no real strong opinion on Freiburg, and now I'm really into them.
After Christian Streich who was there, who
Hero,
seems
yeah.
to be the founder of Freiburg, at least of the modern Freiburg, was gone. Everybody expected Freiburg to really going down, up and away, and never be seen again. Not this season, but boy, it looks different. It looks like Julian Schuster is doing a good job. Looks like the team is getting together. It's not that team with the big names, as we said, but it's a team with a big idea. And if you see the last matches, yeah, well, you can lose to Leipzig, but they beat Augsburg, they beat Bremen, they beat Heidenheim. They beat Bochum, whatever they play, where they lost to Bayern Munich. Okay, well, Leipzig and Bayern Munich, in moment in the Bundesliga here, and all the rest up here or down there. And so they do very well. Really, it's an interesting one. It depends how Mainz. How strong will Mainz be? But if I see Mainz on an away game, not very big. Maybe they beat Bayern Munich tonight, and then they come with a lot of self-confidence, or they get thrashed by Bayern Munich, then they come with no self-confidence. It's all possible.
Yeah, I mean, look, as much as I like Freiburg for this game, Mainz have scored 9 goals in their away games so far this season. In Jonathan Burkhardt, they've got one of the most informed strikers in the Bundesliga as well at the moment. I've always liked him, and he's really, really good at the moment. So I suppose you could argue Mainz might be able to pull off something at Freiburg, but I like Freiburg here. And yeah, you're right. We are in circles. We talk each week about how much I like Freiburg, and we'll see after the winter. After the winter break, it might be, I'm not that bothered about Freiburg now. They're 12th, and I really started to like Hoffenheim. Really go to Hoffenheim.
Well, I don't think so. No.
No, I don't think so either. Taufig, thank you so much, as always, for your fantastic expertise. We will speak to you again next week. Don't forget to check out all of our other Europods every single week, and do make sure you gamble responsibly as well.